U.S. Senator Chris Coons. Senator Chris Coons sits on the Judiciary Committee and has been a huge supporter of Westside in providing affordable health care for all. Please welcome Senator Chris Coons.
To everybody here at Westside Health for what you do to provide access to quality, affordable health care for the people of Delaware. The last few weeks have been dominated by the fight over the confirmation of Judge Barrett. As I suspect all of you know, later today, Senator Carper and I will travel to Washington for the final vote on Judge Amy Coney Barrett. And it is amazing to me, galling to me, angering to me, that in the middle of a pandemic, a global health pandemic that has killed more than 225,000 Americans and infected more than 8.5 million Americans, that the Trump administration is seeking to take away the protections of the Affordable Care Act from a majority of Americans. Don't take my word for it. There's a filing in the U.S. Supreme Court in a case that will be argued 1 week from the election. So we are 1 week from an election, 2 weeks from an argument in the Supreme Court where the ACA is at risk. Why did Donald Trump and the Republican majority insist on racing through the confirmation process for Judge Barrett, even with several members of the Senate infected by COVID? Even with, later today, Vice President Pence coming to preside over this final vote, despite the fact that last night we learned 5 of his innermost circle have tested positive, because they're determined to remove the ACA. They have voted dozens and dozens of times in the Senate to take it away. They have tried in states, they have tried administratively, they have tried in the Congress, and now this last-ditch, last-minute effort in the Supreme Court is going to cost us all. What would it mean? Well, one of the things that the ACA did is Medicaid expansion. Former Governor Carper knows better than anybody what it means to have not just the protections against pre-existing conditions, discrimination, but also the expansion of Medicaid. And in Delaware, that meant federal funding so that 62,500 Delawareans could get access to Medicaid. That is essential to the patients served here at Westside Health. But that's not all the damage they seek to do. Pre-existing conditions are a part of the lives of 340,000 Delawareans. And every woman in Delaware, a majority of Delawareans, are protected against pre-existing condition discrimination just because they're women. The seat that will be filled by the vote today, I hope and pray it won't, but I am a realist, it likely will, is the seat long held by Justice Ginsburg. Justice Ginsburg fought for gender equality. And to have the first case heard by Justice Barrett be a case that will reverse protections against gender discrimination in healthcare is the most galling piece of this of all. A majority of Delawareans today are protected by the Affordable Care Act from being discriminated against just because they're women, or they're people with pre-existing conditions, or that are beneficiaries of expanded Medicaid. We have worked hard in the Senate and especially on the Judiciary Committee to help Delawareans understand what this means. And I've talked over and over about 3 different Delawareans in my Judiciary Committee work. There's Anita from Lewis, the proud sole proprietor of a small business. Prior to the ACA, affording coverage was a struggle. She was one of the earliest adopters, getting her health care through the marketplace in 2013, and today she pays less than half of what she did pre-ACA. There's Debbie from Newcastle, another self-employed small business owner with a pre-existing condition that requires physical therapy, x-rays, multiple monthly appointments. And she falls in between Medicare and Medicaid. Without her health insurance, she could not possibly afford her medical bills and continue to support a small business badly impacted by the pandemic. And then there's Carrie. Carrie Dennis Mayer from Middletown, whose mother Virginia is with us here today as well, is going to share her story with us in detail. Carrie, I have tried to tell your story on the floor of the Senate and in the Senate Judiciary Committee, But nothing can be as powerful as Carrie telling you her own story. Some of you may have seen when the Democrats boycotted the final markup of the Senate Judiciary Committee, we instead had pictures. Pictures of real, live individuals whose stories we want the American people to hear, so they know that a Justice Barrett will take away privacy protections, healthcare protections, fundamental rights, as I detailed, across hundreds of cases that will impact labor protections, environmental protections, literally everything from Native American rights to the rights of criminal defendants are at risk. But today, in front of Westside Health, Senator Carper and I wanted to focus on the Affordable Care Act, and I'm so grateful to Carrie Dennis Mayer for coming and sharing her story with us and with you. Carrie?
Good morning, Senator, and thank you so much. And representatives, the Deputy Chief, medical professionals, and fellow constituents. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say favorable words about the Affordable Care Act and how it improved my quality of life and how the ACA removed my healthcare insecurity and replaced it with quality healthcare at a reasonable cost. In 2009, before ACA was passed, I was in an intense healthcare situation. My premiums were too expensive and my coverage was at best skimpy. The ACA saved my family by providing quality healthcare services within my budget. Today, I have the big three dreaded pre-existing conditions: diabetes, high blood pressure, and asthma. However, I'm not worried because today, the ACA is still here. It is helping me manage my pre-existing conditions with doctor's visits, medications, diabetic counseling, and monitoring. Also, I'm a patient here at Westside Family Health in Bear, Delaware, where they do treat me well. Miss Alonzo is our enrollment specialist who basically helped me get the right ACA healthcare program for my needs. ACA is not just benefiting me, but thousands of Delawareans and millions of Americans all across this country. What is interesting is that most people do not know the need for Affordable Health Care Act until they really need it. And if you fall between the cracks of healthcare insecurity and healthcare uncertainty, then trust me, you're grateful that ACA is there to help you. Basically, what it provides for patients is it gives them access to preventative care. It gives them access to early detection and intervention and treatment. It improves the chances of recovery. It improves the chances of resuming a normal daily life. In my situation, in most situations, most people won't let their health care get in a worse situation with health care if they have access to the right care and the right options. And I know ACA is the law of the land and has been for the past 10 years. Now, we as the people need to lift our voices and tell the government how we feel about ACA once again. In my case, my life is getting back to normal, which is being a good parent, running my business, teaching adult training classes, volunteering, helping my family, my friends, my church, and my work staff when needed, and lending my voice to Affordable Health Care Act when asked. I thank you for taking the moment to listen to my story, and God bless.
To introduce U.S. Senator Tom Carper and invite him to the podium. U.S. Senator Tom Carper was one of the original architects of the Affordable Care Act over a decade ago. Since then, he's been working to improve the landmark law, working hand in glove with healthcare providers like Westside. So I would like to please welcome Senator Tom Carper.
Good morning. I just, before I get in my remarks, I just want to say I've been here, Chris and I've been here, I don't know how many times over the years. And I want to say to everybody who's part of the team here at Westside, all the way down to Dover, with the thousands of people, the tens of thousands of people every year that you provide loving care for Thank you. Let's put our hands together for this team. Come on. You guys should clap for yourself, too. I want to say to Chris Coons how proud we are of you. All of us in Delaware. Well, almost all of us in Delaware. For the great fight that you have led. An uphill battle. You made us proud. Give them another round of applause, please. Way to go. Chris and I and our families oftentimes go to church. We're Presbyterians, and we don't go to the same church, but a lot of Sundays that's where we end up. And many Sundays our church is about a mile from here over Westminster Presbyterian. And many Sundays our pastor, Greg Jones, talks about the Matthew 25. Chris and I talk about Matthew 25 a lot, and I'm thinking about Matthew 25 right now, which says something like this. When I was thirsty, did you give me to drink? When I was hungry, did you feed me? When I was naked, did you clothe me? When I was sick and in prison, did you visit me? When I was a stranger in your land, did you welcome me? Matthew 25 doesn't say anything about, well, when I had a pre-existing condition and I couldn't get any health insurance, did you do anything about it? Matthew 25 doesn't say anything about, well, I was 20 years old and I used to get coverage for health when my parents' plan, and now I don't get to do that anymore. Matthew 25 doesn't say if there's something like an exchange that I could actually get coverage in and get help by a tax credit. Did you preserve that tax credit? But you know what? Those are just some of the things that are on the line. Affordable contraception is on the line. And one of the reasons in this country why the number of abortions that are being conducted is actually going down, down, down over the years is because of access to affordable contraception. That's a hallmark, that's an important provision within the Affordable Care. It'll go away. How do I know it'll go away? Last night on 60 Minutes in an interview with Leslie Stahl, Donald Trump was asked, not once but twice, about what his hopes were for the ACA, and he said, with respect to the Supreme Court, and Chris has said, meeting on November 10th, 1 week after the election, President Trump said again and again, I hope they end it. I hope they end it. Well, I'm not so sure he's ever read Matthew 25, because if he would, he wouldn't be so sure. We have an obligation to meet. We have an obligation to meet the needs, including the healthcare needs, of those that are most vulnerable among us. And through the Affordable Care Act, not only do we meet that moral obligation, but we do so in a way that is fiscally responsible. We do so in a way that's fiscally responsible. The Affordable Care Act now enjoys the support of about 65% of the American people. Those who are against it are maybe 25%, but by more than 2-to-1 margin now, the American people say, preserve this legislation. Preserve the benefits that it provides. There's a lot at stake on this vote tonight, as Senator Coons knows and I know. A lot at stake. We're going to, the handwriting is probably on the wall, but we will go down fighting because it's the right thing to do. And I said in the speech last night on the Senate floor to my Republican colleagues, our Republican colleagues, you may succeed this time with respect to this nomination in the Supreme Court. But you're going to win the battle and not the war. Because in the end, right will win out. And I said to them last night, do you think you can do this just because you can? Well, you're wrong. This is the wrong thing to do. And in the end, right will triumph. I oftentimes have had a chance to introduce a young guy who's a student. Where does Michael go to school? To Middletown? He goes to school down in Middletown. He's in high school. Michael Davis Caruso. And Michael's, he's a runner. I mean, I'm a runner too. Chris is a runner too. This guy's a real runner. And not only is he a real runner, as some of you may have remember, he's a real runner who, as a teenager, he was 14 years old, I think. He ran the Chicago Marathon. He didn't run a 5K. He didn't run a 10K, which I can barely do these days. He didn't run a half marathon. he ran the Chicago Marathon. And he ran it as a teenager. And he ran it with cystic fibrosis. One of the reasons why he's able to do that is because of the care that he gets through the Affordable Care Act. And he wanted to be here today. His mom had other responsibilities and says, no, you're going to school. So he's in school today. But he sends his best. And Michael understands that without the Affordable Care Act and access to a team of doctors and medications, that running a race or even going out to his mailbox would be impossible. So Michael, good luck on your schoolwork, buddy. And we'll look forward to seeing you at maybe at the Caesar Rodney next year. The Caesar Rodney, we'll see. But while Michael couldn't be here, guess who can be here? And it's Jan White. I've had an opportunity to be with Jan any number of times and to introduce her any number of times. Jan is a wife. Jan is a mother. And where's Maggie? Maggie, I understand Maggie is going to become a mother again in 2 months? 2 months. All right. Congratulations, Maggie. But Jan is a wife, a mother. Maggie, how many, come on up here. How many children do you have? 17.
17.
Come here. All right, that's good. That's close enough. Mother of one, and boy or girl?
I have a son,
And how old is your son?
25.
25, all right. Wife, mother, small business owner from Newark. And she's been battling stage 4 non-Hodgkin lymphoma for was it 4 years? 3, 4? 4 years. She knows the Affordable Care Act has protected her and her family by not letting insurance companies set lifetime caps or drop her coverage. She's a remarkable woman, a remarkable Delawarean. I'm really delighted that you could join us again today. Jan, come on in here. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Carper, for the check. Quite certain I owe my life to, told me just how close we had come. That my file was dropped on his desk at 8:30 in the morning. By 8:45, the partners had met about me. By 9 o'clock, they were on the phone to me with the words, "Be in this office in 1 hour. Pack a bag. You are not going home. You are being admitted directly to Christiana from the office. We have to begin chemo today. We have to try to save your spinal cord and your life." By 10, I was in the office. By noon, I was in the hospital. I was cycled through heart study, lung study, blood work, PICC line shoved in my arm, and by late afternoon, I was on chemo. Our heads were spinning. But the speed was crucial because the assessment was I was 7 to 10 days from being completely paralyzed and 3 weeks from dying. That of his career, I was his full-blown emergency. But I'm here. And on our 30th wedding anniversary, I was here to play with Michael in Disney World, just like we did on our honeymoon. And when Ethan proposed to Marissa, we knew the weekend, but not when. So my phone lived on my lap, and I was here to get the best 3-word text ever. She said yes. I was here for 1,000 moments of simple joy with family and with friends. I'm gonna wait. Somebody needs help, we're gonna wait. And for those who know me, the mantra is onward, so onward. The idea of losing the Affordable Care Act protections is enough for me to lose countless nights of sleep as life-changing questions roll through my brain. With my health history, will we be able to afford the premiums? Our premiums now are more than double our mortgage. Without the protections, how high could they go? And will we be able to pay them? And even if we have coverage, if there are lifetime maximum caps, when will I reach those? And chances are, I am way, way past them already. So what do? Do we choose to forego care and live on hope? Or do we choose to pay for care? And if I relapse, I will almost certainly bankrupt my family, and I could die anyway. It's hard enough to fight the cancer. We shouldn't have to fight for the chance to live. We need the ACA protections. Thank you.
All right.